Okay, so we're back for part 2 of the how to begin your spiritual practice part. In my experience, I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about who I am. So let's change, because let's not focus on that one while, you know, let's not focus on that one. Okay, this is better. So, in my experience as a practitioner, who am I? Let me tell you about me. My name is Ablosi Baba. I am a Indigenous practitioner of West African Vodou. I'm also a two-spirit Mami Da Huno. So I'm a two-spirit Indigenous practitioner of West African Vodou. I'm a Mami Da Huno. So Huno is the highest rank in the temple under a king. And typically they deal with the head, master of the head spirit. So they represent usually the hand of God, the head of God, like the eye of God, the mouth of God, right? I represent the voice of God. That's my purpose. And, I'm all about helping people get on their path, helping people find their spirits, but it really looks like helping them find their soul purpose and their gift, their talent, their ability, what God gave them. And if they could use that to make the world a better place, God will bless them greatly. So one thing I didn't mention in the other video is get a journal. Get a journal. And just start with your white candle and your glass of water. And as you grow, as you go, you will learn bits and pieces. And if you email me, oracle@priestesscordis.org, I can help you orient yourself more. So I find often that when people are beginning their practice, the challenge for them is giving more attention to the spiritual world than the human world. And it blocks and impinges upon their ability to practice, their ability to come home, their ability to be a heavenly being, because they're bound by their attachments to the physical. And the spiritual is yet to open up to them. You can see heavenly beings. You can see angels. You can see all these things. Now, they're different than we've been conditioned and programmed to believe. The way society talks about these things is not quite adequate. They don't articulate it realistically. However, the general concept and idea is true. There's a little bit of truth in everything, but we're all being lied to. Now, the devil works from the outside in. He's going to find a way to attack you based on one of the 5 senses: touch, smell, taste, sight, hearing. Okay. Now, once he gets the key to one of those, your 5 physical senses, remember, the battle between light and dark, God and Satan, spirit and flesh, that's what it is. Our body comes from the devil. That's the agreement. That's why Jesus died for our sins. Our soul comes from God, but our body comes from the devil. Our soul comes from our ancestors. Our spirit comes from God, and the body comes from the devil. That's the real truth for me, how I see it. So when we are in the flesh, we tend to be separated from him. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so here we go. So when we're in the flesh, we're separated from him. I don't know where I got this from. I would love to give credit if I knew who it was. So a lot of times I tell the children, hey, you're worshiping that money god. There's a reason. And I ain't saying money ain't no nothing. And I'm also saying, like, there's no spirituality in poverty. And I'm not saying that you're devoid of spiritualism if you're poor. I'm saying flow, abundance, that shows things. I'm becoming unblocked myself because I was blocking my own blessings, moving too slow. God is trying to bless me. I'm standing in the way. You know, in the military, that it's a little bit like insubordination. You question the orders that you get. You question the commands. I'm the kind of person who mouths off to the teacher. So, hey, that's great out in the world as a light worker. That could do amazing. But if I'm talking to my guides, my ancestors, my God like that ain't going to work. So sometimes God will slap me around by people won't pay me on time. Money won't come through right away. I have a tendency to lose my wallet. I have a tendency to get locked into my bank account really easily, lose my PIN, whatever. You know, so again, the way for God to get your attention, especially once you've made contact, and I'm going to use God as in generator, operator, destroyer. The God we can see is a he. The God we can feel is a she. So if it's going on the inside, that is the goddess. And if it's going on the outside, that is God. Now the ocean is the goddess. We know that, but we can see her. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so read this, the threefold nature of man. So the first one over here is when we're the most disconnected from God. To be honest, God feels like he's lost us. Oops, excuse me. God feels like he's lost us in this situation right here. And it's because of the flesh. So this is when we're healing. And this is when we're carnal. So remember I was saying the five senses, the devil works on your five senses. So then that they are in the flesh cannot please God. Romans 8:8. What is it? Chapter 8, verse 8. So we consider that like the living room, which is the least personal room in the house. Yeah, there's a lot of life in there, the soul of the house, the soul of the family is in the living room. But it's not the bedroom, it's not the boudoir. So the body is like the outer court of the temple. Because we're very corruptible. Because again, like I said, the devil can work on us from the outside in. So once we've given him the key to one of our five senses, touch, smell, sight, hearing, taste, then he gets the key to the sixth, which is our mind. So when we're giving our spiritual currency over, that's our creativity, imagination, our faith, our belief, that is when the devil has taken over our kingdom. Our kingdom is our body where it houses our spirits. That's our holy temple. This is what spiritual practice is about. It's about purifying the mind away from the devil. The devil is just lived, spelled backwards. Satan is an adversary. Satan is an entity, but you need to let him in, and it needs to be intentional. It's not by accident. The devil can get in by accident. Satan cannot. There's such a thing as a devil, which rules demons, and there's such a thing as Satan, which rules all devils. So basically you have, God, archangels, and angels. Well, you have Satan, devils, and demons. Devil is lived, spelled backwards. So when you invert your spirit, when you sacrifice the eternity of your spirit for a temporary right now could be a day, a week, a month, a year, or whatever. Getting into marriage don't work because of the money, doing this, doing that because of the this and that. I remember when I was younger, I would take my rent money and go drinking. And boy, I was living in hell all the time when the first of the month came around. And the dread, right, of the approaching. I saw this meme on one of the social networking. I don't know which one it was because I'm not a networker like that. It was so funny because there's this, like, it was this sign of like this person peeking out from behind the bushes with a really sour face. And all these other people are walking around in front of the bush, like very happy with shopping bags in their hands. And then there was a caption above the person peeking out from behind the bushes with the sour face saying, like, that was basically January's rent payment. And then all the people in front of the bush are like Christmas shopping, you know? So that's kind of like the devil. The devil's the one watching you give your power away, watching you slide deeper, deeper, deeper into hell. Hell is a vibration where suffering exists. Hell is a vibration where struggle exists, which is basically similar to earth. And then once it becomes suffering, that's when you're in hell fully. Okay. So when you give the devil the key to one of your five senses, he enters your mind, and that's when he can begin to push God out, because God lives from the inside out. So here, all we get is death and sickness and sin. We're subject to the law of sin. Here, if we have creativity, imagination, the gifts of the spirit, and versus the gifts of the body, which is death. The gifts of the spirit is wisdom, knowledge, faith, healing. This is also when we begin to come into our spiritual powers: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. I read the Bible, even though I practice voodoo. Yes, I do voodoo. That's what I'm saying. Everybody does voodoo. They don't know it. If you read astrology, you're doing voodoo. Voodoo means source energy. I ain't no Hollywood practitioner. I do not do bad magic at all. At all. I do not even retaliate when somebody harms me unless it's for protection only. But this is also when we come into the discerning of spirits. And like I said, you know, first you're in the outer part of the house, you enter the front door, what do you in? The dining room, the living room, the foyer, then you enter into the kitchen, then you're in the bedroom. So remember I said I work for the throne? This is when we have discernment of the spiritual world. So here, when we move from the spiritual senses to the two heavenly senses, which is faith and doubt. So the two senses, everything in this universe. So there's God and the devil. So God rules love, the devil rules fear. So love is a heavenly energy. And in order to get into that heavenly energy, you need faith. Faith in the knowledge that God loves you and that you are one with spirit, that you are in an eternal partnership with the divine. Doubt is when you begin to separate yourself from that knowledge. We were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of the man, but the will of God. John 1:13. The fruits of this nature of spirit, the fruits of faith, the fruits of the soul, is a change in our fundamental nature. We should become a radiant being. So we become incorruptible because if God works from the inside out, the devil works from the outside in. Once the devil gets the keys to one of your five senses, then he has the key to your mind. Once he has the key to your mind, he can begin pushing God out. But if you build the God up on the inside, the devil can't even get through the door. So this is practice. We've got to get away from our attachments. We do. Especially to material. Now, I'm not saying money isn't important, but if you prioritize money over other things, that's the devil. So when we're praying, it's good to, remember I was talking about, I don't know if you saw the first video, but what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to attune into one of the energies that resonates with us, because we don't always understand God very much. We don't always know how to get closer to God, to connect with God. So listen, I like to talk to you in two different ways. Okay. We have all the signs in our chart. We have all the planets in our chart. We don't have access to all the planets. So think of the planets as powers. In the Vedic system, which is the ancient, okay, they lived very spiritual lives in those times. They lived God-like lives in those times. They understood how to live with the divinities, to worship the divinities, to serve the divinities. They were very elevated. So there's a difference between a good time and then like now we're like living in the dark ages, the Kali Yuga, okay? So I said we have access to our first 4 planets, full access. So Venus, Mercury, Moon, Sun, we have access to those. Now we have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn in our chart. But those sometimes are working against us. Even Venus can work against you. Even the moon can work against you, but you can control these personal planets. It's these transpersonal planets and these generational planets that's a little harder. Okay, so let's start here. Your rising sign is your approach to life. Your midheaven is your approach to the world. Your rising sign is your personal boss, your own indicator. It's your crown. It's your own indicator of what's righteous within you. Your 9th house, 10th house cusp, that's the worldly boss. Your 10th house is going to be all the bosses that you have, but your 9th house cusp is going to tell you about your spiritual beliefs. So for me, Leo is my 9th house. So the sun, Archangel Michael. So if I want to help myself out of a situation and I need to get to God right away, and I can't sit there and wait after days and days and days of meditation and prayer and mantras and pujas and saying 1,000 different mantras, 71,000 times or whatever, 39,000, or whatever, I'll call upon Archangel Michael. I'll call upon any sun spirit, Surya, Ani, Indra, right? So my name is Ablosi. In India, it would be known as Aditi. And Aditi is the mother of all kings, of all gods. The universe, the planets, they're made out of her body. So we call those the Da, the Mami Da. These are the 12 Mami Da, not the actual, there's lots of different Mami Da, but these are the 12 groupings here. Some live in the forest, some live in the sea, some live in the river, some live in the sky, some live in the clouds, some live in the, the water that comes down, some are the rainbows, one is the sun, one is the moon, so on and so forth. So there's 7 to 12 Aditya. And if you begin to research, you'll find that you have resonance to one of them. Now, there's a way you can there is a way you can it's English is leaving me. This happens when I'm sharing more than I need to share. So I'm about to give away some type of esoteric secret the goddess doesn't want known out in public, probably. Okay, so I'll put that in the 3rd video. Okay, so I'm going to go in order. Like Vishnu is Aries, even though it's really Pisces. In heaven, it would be Pisces. So if you're a Cancer here on Earth, in heaven, you're actually a Gemini. And it's really like a Cancer, you're a Cancer, but you come from the realm of Gemini. So Gemini represents the heavens. Cancer represents the earth. Leo represents the temple of God. Virgo represents the priestess that's working in the temple of God. The Leo-Virgo cusp is actually Sekhmet. Libra represents the queen in that temple of God, right? Scorpio represents the head, like the people getting served, typically what they're adjudicating against. Okay, so let's just go in order here. So Vishnu, Aries. Vivasat, Taurus. Think about it. Cosmic laws, Aries. Social laws, Taurus. Solidarity, Gemini. Sakra, Cancer. That's courage, Varuna, Leo. Pushan, Virgo. Aryaman, Libra. Savitor, Scorpio. Daksha, Sagittarius. Daksha is prolific. He's the father of dozens and dozens and dozens. I think he has 27 daughters alone that represent the moon spirits. And then he has another 12 kids that represent the sun spirits. And then another 8 over here that represent the river. And then he's prolific. He had lots of children. So Daksha, that's very typical of a Sagittarian energy. And it's not about they're sticking their dick everywhere. It's literally they plant seeds everywhere they grow. They go for people to grow in their soul's consciousness. So ritual skill, Shvashta, that's Capricorn. Okay. Amsa, that's Aquarius. Bhaga, that's God's share. That's Pisces. So that's a quick indicator. There's more, but you don't need to. These are just some beginning things for your practice. And I know this is educating you on astrology. I don't do that. I'm not trying to do that. So if you're struggling with something and you need to bring an entity and energy into your life, meditate to one of these. Now, don't go below Saturn. And let me tell you why. When you discover who you are, the truth of who you are and why you're here, then you have access to your Mercury. Mercury can help you facilitate consciousness. Once your consciousness has been on something for long enough, it will make itself known. That's the moon. Once you begin to have a relationship with looking out into the world, focused on what you want, having an intention on what you want, and things have been beginning to show up. Once it's happened a couple of times, you have your sun, your Mercury, your moon open. Once that gives you knowledge of the self, knowledge of your ability to navigate, to manifest things in the universe, to negotiate, to navigate around this world, that's when you open up your Venus. But you need self-love and value to open up your Venus fully. Once your Venus has been opened up, then you get access to your Jupiter. Once you fully activate your Jupiter, then you get access to your Saturn. Once you activate your Saturn, that takes a while. You typically can't have full access of your Saturn until 27 all the way to 36, depending on who you are, what's going on. Once you get full access to your Saturn, then it'll unlock the nodes. Once you are in alignment, because the nodal access, that's your whole life. But once you're in alignment with your life path and you've activated the lower energies, then you can navigate, negotiate your Uranus. Once you're able to be and to have a godlike mind, to enshrine God alive in you, then you have access to Neptune. Neptune is everything that we are seeing and perceiving down here. All of that energy from the subtle realms is Neptune. It's everything. It's everything. But we can't perceive it without the sun, without the moon, without, I just bumped the mic, I'm sorry, without Mercury, without Venus. Okay. Now, perceiving is twofold. Perceiving is not just feeling, emoting, experiencing. It's also thinking, judging, rationalizing. So the thinking, the judging, the rationalizing, that's Uranus, that's God, the creator. The preserver part, Uranus is Brahma. The preserver part, also Uranus is Olodumare. The preserver part, actually Olodumare is both Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So Uranus, Brahma, Neptune, Vishnu, Pluto, Shiva. The sun, Surya, the moon, Chandra, Mercury is Buddha. It's called Buddha. Venus is Sukra. Mars, Mangala. Now, to me, it's Kartikeya, Murugan, but I work with that energy. We all know that Mars is Ogun, Venus is Oshun, Mercury is Legba, the moon is Mami Wata, the sun is Mami Da. Okay. Jupiter is Shango, Havioso, Saturn is Sakwata, Babalue. In India, it's Shani, and Jupiter is called Brihaspati. Okay. Now, the north node is Rahu, and the south node is Ketu. Now, Pars Fortune, that's Earth. So literally, it's where your physical body is in the stars. You descend from a star. Your rising sign is your aura. And your midheaven is the being that mounts your crown. So even though I'm crowned, I have a Uranus crown as a Saturnian being, I am the Legba of another spirit. I'm the Legba of Adi Shakti because my 10th house is ruled by Mercury. Now, that's how it plays out on Earth. But you always kind of need to tweak your chart a little bit and use it in the Vedic sense. So it's always the sign before, unless you have a late degree in your chart. So in the Vedic sense, it tells you how your powers are in heaven outside of a body. When you descend into a body, there's always things you have to grow to. You don't incarnate unless you're open, willing to learn. So unless you have some agreement with the creator to struggle a little bit to grow into more, you don't get to incarnate. Even if you're serving, even if you're of purpose. Okay, so you can always use the 12 signs to your own benefit. However, you sometimes need to call upon the planets. Now, the planets mean graha versus Rashi. Rashi is a sign, it's what's happening, and then the bhava is a house, it's where it's happening. What's happening is a rishi, meaning that what's being taught to you. Where it's happening is a bhava, it's literally where you experience it. Where bhava literally means where the water seeps through. Well, the grahas, planets, are considered the frozen water. They enforce things to happen. And then according to the sign and according to the house, it's what and where it is happening. Okay, so I always suggest a person works 1st, 5th, 9th house first. Whatever your 1st, 5th, and 9th house is. Me, I have fire. I'm a Sagittarius rising. So my 1st house is Sag, my 5th house is Aries, and my 9th house is Leo. Now I have Saturn, Uranus in the 1st house. I have Jupiter in the 5th house. I have Mars in the 9th house. So I get to work with all those energies here. I get to work with Uranus, I get to work with Saturn, I get to work with Mars, I get to work with Jupiter. If ever I need help, I can call upon them right away. Now, of course, I also have my Sun, my Venus, my Mercury, my Moon. Now, my Moon is ruled by Saturn. My Mercury, my Venus, my Sun, they're all ruled by the Moon in Cancer. So I'm very blessed that I get to call upon the energies very easily. Very, very easily. And as a Mami Da Huno, so somebody who wears the veil of Saturn, hiding a Sun and Moon spirit, I'm very fortunate and blessed. Now, I knew these things without knowing these things. So way before I did the naming thing in Africa and all that other stuff, my indigenous practitioner, all that stuff, my ceremonies, initiations, and all that stuff, I just worked with the nitty-gritty of the basic. Okay? So again, as I was saying, If you're an Aries and you don't want to do all of this here, don't worry about it. When you start practicing Vishnu, now I would start with your rising sign. Unless you don't know your rising sign, then do your North Node. Unless you don't know your North Node, then do your Sun sign. So I'm a Sagittarius rising, Daksha. To me, that's Chiron. I work a lot with Chiron energy. Whenever I need healing, I work with Chiron. Whenever I need to do work for other people, I work with Chiron. I believe that I am Chiron. Chiron is a Saturnian type of spirit. People don't understand that. They think, oh, well, Chiron's nice, Chiron's loving, Chiron's so kind. That's because it's mixed with Uranus energy. But Chiron is Saturn conjunct Uranus, literally is what that means. Chiron energy, Saturn conjunct Uranus. That for me is Daksha. I'm a Sagittarius rising, I'm gonna work with Daksha. So secondarily, I'll work with Sakra. Secondarily, I'll work with Varuna. Secondarily, I'll work with Vishnu. I just named my Jupiter, my Saturn. Conversely, I just named my first house and my fifth house. So like I was saying, start with your rising sign always. That's your first house. Then continue with your fifth house, then continue with your ninth house. Because that means Dharma. Dharma means to purify your karma and be in alignment. Dharma is the law of the universe. It's how this universe gets maintained. And also Dharma is duty. So if you're going towards your Dharma, you're going to please God. Now, there are other things, and there are other things that are equally as important, like moksha. You need to get off earth. You need to stop incarnating if you need to be incarnating in heaven, right? But you're never gonna get to the place where you're able to access liberation if you're not purifying your karma, if you're not living in your Dharma. So that's kind of the beginning of this like practice here. You know, when you're looking at those cups of water, this is literally what's happening. You have 7 cups of water, you have 7 deities, you have 7 planets. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 7 mother goddesses. Look them up. They're called the Sapta Matrikas. Let me get my little cute handy dandy stylus. Sapta Matrikas. Okay, it's the 7 mother, ooh, geez. 7 mother goddesses. Okay. Now, prayer meditation. This is what's happening when you're meditating. What you want to do is you want to allow the fleshly fluid to go up the base of the spine all the way to the crown, around the crown to the third eye. Now, when that happens, that's when you become anointed. That's the goal. First of all, to get your crown, that's when you're anointed. This is your crown. I'm just drawing flames here, so don't worry. Okay, so that's your crown when you become anointed, when your third eye activates. Okay. That's the name of the game here, because then you become a Da. These are the Mami Da. They're radiant beings. They exist in the 6th dimension and above. That's what we want, but we have to start with the help of our ancestors. There really is no other way. So besides all the little tips and tricks that I gave you, let's start here. Practice. Practice is cleaning the mind. What is devotion? Oops. What is devotion? Devotion is cleaning. I can spell, y'all, I promise. Okay, that is just too ugly for me. Not going to work. Cleaning the heart. The gate for God to come through is the heart. But a lot of us go towards the devil because of money greed. I'm sorry. I don't mean to knock you all around. I know some of you I've cussed out for your Christmas shopping and all of that. Listen, mama, if mama comes for you, be happy. Be blessed. Feel my love. My love is not going to be, oh, good job, pat on the back. My love is going to be ripping the devil out of the depths of your soul and slapping the bullshit out of you. I don't need to lay a hand on you to speak the voice of God through you. And I don't do that for everybody. I can't. If it's not flowing through me, it's not going to happen. And this is really how you do it here. I would love to be kind and friendly. I would love to be like Mitra. Let's pause for a moment. I would love to be like Mitra, the friend to all, loving, compassionate, righteous as fuck, man. He is so damn pure. Ooh. That boy. Ooh. Mitra is like unbothered by anything that is off-white. He cannot even take off-white. He is that clean and pure. Okay. I would love to be more like Mitra. Friendly. Friend to all is what he represents. But that's not where I'm at. I'm a little bit more like Indra. I have thunder and lightning and I'm coming for you. I don't want you to feel like I'm a bully. I'll never go out of my way to be I will always be kind and I will never go out of my way to be unkind. I just cannot always be nice. Okay. I would love to, if I keep naming children, I'm eventually going to find a mambo that is the caring, compassionate one. I don't have a lot of children that are like Kuan Yin or anything like that. I have, ferocious children. When my children get named, they have scary names. Okay. So we just need to replace all of the things over here. Like we need to replace lust with chastity. We need to replace gluttony with abstinence. And that's all we do. And so it's fine to, excuse me, I just bumped the mic like 1,000 times. It's fine to be human. It's fine to be human. Listen, mommy, I love a tall, thick nigga with some good wood. Oh my gosh, boy, sway that over here, right? But if I'm all in my mind about what's going on down there and I'm distracted from my work and doing whatever, the devil is knocking at my door. All of a sudden I've lost a day in productivity. All of a sudden I got some strange dick and I'm worried and I'm wondering why I'm out of focus. People, I have guys come and scream at me saying that I'm a cold, prickly bitch and I need a dick in my mouth to take a load off. Okay, no, my chastity and abstinence has nothing to do with my demeanor. I'm just unbothered. I'm unbothered. So you need to get to this place. Now, if you could do so with love and compassion all the time, great. Wonderful. But remember, there's something here, not here. There's something here, not here. This for me, I'm just going to share for those who like to call me on my shit. This is where I'm at. I've done all of this down here. I'm right here, girl. Every day I need to eat some humble pie. And it tastes good to me. I just don't always remember to sustain myself. I don't eat often. Not often enough. I can go a day or two without eating before I even remember. I usually remember that I need to eat when I'm drinking caffeinated tea and I'm about to fall over. And I'm like, oh, I should probably eat something. But I have humble pie all the time, okay? So there's something not here and I want to say it. I mean, yes, but yes. Okay, self-love. You need this too. Because what God will see then is worth and value. All right. Worth and value. So let's just run through these slides really quick. Let's make sure we got everything. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I just do one more thing for y'all. So this is typically what the ascension cycle looks like for most people. I just wanted to remind you of the Boveda altar because look, it really is, if you look at it, the Boveda altar, you have your 7 rainbow lights. Okay, it's the same thing. All 3 slides are related. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, so moving on, this again. We need to move from worshiping the body to worshiping the soul of God. And I really like this slide. Be the church, protect the environment, care for the poor, forgive often, reject racism, fight for the powerless, share earthly and spiritual resources, embrace diversity, love God, enjoy your life. I get so mad. I get so mad when I see somebody not living their life. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Just jump in a volcano, you're done. If you're not waking up every day bursting forward to live life, if it takes you forever to get out of bed, something has gone terribly wrong. I do not understand why people squander their life. I get it. I've had depression, I've had addictions, I've had all of that. I've been rich, I've been poor, I've been all of that. I've been in a mansion, I've been on the streets, I've been all of that. I get it. So for me, what I have to do personally, and this is that self-forgiveness piece I was talking about, is I have to get angry privately and then take that humble pie and then return with compassion. So either you're going up or you're going down. What you're not doing is staying the same. The universe is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. What you're not doing is staying the same. Why? Because around you, things are going to change. So by definition, if things around you are changing and you're staying the same, by definition, you're getting worse. Either you grow together or you grow apart. That includes with your relationship, with your friends, and with God. So I like these noble virtues. I really do. So look them up. These are, they're very similar to the Native American. So just look them up. I mean, it's courage, discipline, fidelity, honor, hospitality, industriousness, perseverance, self-reliance, and truth. These are some of the simple aspects of practice. There are more. I'm going to come into, I'm going to do a part 3. So the 9 noble virtues. I face my fear and defend my family and kindred from all dangers. That's courage. Discipline. I do what is necessary and right of my own accord without bribe or threat. Fidelity. I am true to family, friends, kindred, and those who I pledge my service. Okay. I'm getting a lot on that. Honor. I stand by my oaths and honor my ancestors by keeping my name pure among the kindred. See, I struggle with that because I'm very into discipline, but I overwork myself and then I have to like rest forever. And then I seem like I can't honor my commitments. And it's been bothering me for a while. I mean, I had a breakthrough recently, but I mean, I was sitting there reading Fidelity and all this channel started coming through. So I'll keep on with this. Hospitality. I share hearth, food, drink with my friends, my kindred, and the weary traveler at my door. Industriousness. I take joy in labor and hold nothing back from the work I pledge to do. Perseverance. I press on against all odds until my goal is met. The task is finished, and I have done all that I have said I will do. Self-reliance. I learn skills and grow strong so that I may earn my way in the world to be no burden to others. Truth. I seek the truth even when it may be a hard truth. I speak true words or stand in silence, and I defend the truth. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, no, actually, and I defend the truth from those who do not honor it. Oh, okay. Yes, very much. Ooh, that is my thing right there. Ooh, okay, had to let that out. Girl. Yes, and then again, the 7 virtues. We all know them. So let's just conclude the second part of this. I like trees and animals and shit. That's when we're just now waking up, right? That's a muggle. That's like one of those festival bros. Hey, bro, let's meditate, bro. Hey, bro, let's do the yoga, bro. You know what I mean. Okay. And then, you know, also, I call them the Lululemon lesbians too, you know. They're like, namaste, namaste. And they're wearing like $130 yoga pants. Hey, I can't hate you. And then we have like the second level of awakening or another stage of awakening. It's like, I'm a witch from a long bloodline of witches from Salem, you know, or wherever. We call those, in my tribe, we call those the Iami. Some people call themselves the Druids, right? I totally believe in the Mentunetter. I'm a Kemetan, okay? And then we have another level of awakening. It's like, I'm a neo-pagan who is trying to reconstruct ancient practices to follow the old ways, right? Okay, and then, so I'm a practicing occultist who has studied many grimoires and systems. That's when you start, you know, multiple systems. You begin to see the universality in everything. And then once you're living universally, you're like, I'm a mystic who has transcended the world of phenomena and false duality. There is only love. There is only oneness. There is not only love. There is only oneness. Everything is one. Everything is everything. And then you keep it simple again. I like trees and animals and shit. So I hope I'm leaving you with, it's not too complicated, but I know I gave us some practices that might be a little bit difficult for everybody. You know, start with your rising sign, and your rising sign will tell you a lot about your life path, spirit, karma, destiny. Your rising sign, you're heading towards your 9th house. The stop in between is the 5th house. The 5th house is you, cultivating you. That's where you get to enjoy. If God gives you a gift, you can't just use that gift for yourself. If you get put on a path, if you incarnate with a crown into this world, you must do your God duties and responsibilities, or you will not enjoy your life very much. So what's for you is the 5th house. What's for the world, your God duties and responsibilities, that's the 9th house. Okay? And then you can leave this world from the 12th house. Even the 13th sign, it doesn't matter, but you leave this world from the 12th house. So I hope you got what you needed out of this video. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege and the pleasure to do so. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, my information is in the show notes or cole@priestessgorgeous.org. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dhanavad, and ashe. I will do a part 3 in a couple days. I'm gonna go to Christmas dinner. I don't celebrate Christmas, but it's good to hang out with family. And Mom, if you're watching, I'll definitely see you by your birthday. Mama's a Pisces, everybody. Everybody say hi to Mama Constantina, Madam Constantina. Hi, Mommy. Okay, take good care. Bye.